Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you'll watch my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is the Intercontinental Group of Awesome, our Sunday afternoon for some, evening for others game. So named because we cross two continents. We've got a big pond in between us. There are some USicans and some Europeans, and we get together on Sundays in order to play tabletop role playing games. We are continuing our campaign of Spire, the City Must Fall. And if I were to think of this like volumes of a comic book, I feel that we ended our first volume, and this is maybe we had an annual in the middle. I'm not sure. And now we are entering the second volume of Aspire, the City Must Fall. And the most exciting part is that we have a loving and superior GM who's running this game, which is Tyler. So Tyler, let me hand this over to you. You are the man.
Thank you very much, Rich. Yes, I'm Tyler, he, him pronouns, and we are playing Spire by Grant Howitt, Christopher Taylor, and we are moving into, as Rich says, a second volume. I think of a second season, and we're starting the Better the Devil, which is also written by Grant Howitt and Chris Taylor in the Strata. Ooh, it won't show up. Yeah, oh well. The Strata book that they put out, a supplement for Spire, and it is awesome. All of Spire is pretty cool. I highly recommend folks take a look at it. It's beautiful. It's well written. We are coming together. We have some safety tools on the table. Our folks are aware we have Alliance and Veils. We also have the X card on the table. And we're going to be hopping in here to our big story. We ended last time kind of wrapping up the end of the last one and moving into the new one. Folks had some different situations, but the whole group had gotten back together after Fedara's excursion beyond the Spire. And we've had little things that had gone on in there, but we're about to get digging in. So why don't we introduce all our characters and start up? Let's start with we'll go from character keeper from right to left this time around. That way I don't put poor Jan on the spot every time. So Sabine, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Yeah, hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I play Vizar, who uses he, him pronouns. Vizar is an inksmith, and he is a reporter. And yeah, he writes articles for his Gazette, which I have now named the Heavenly Gaze. That's basically they're mostly doing, actually they're a front for a ministry, and they print a lot of stuff that are coded messages. So the regular stuff they print is really tame, and that is not exactly what Vizaris wants to write. He also writes schlocky penny dreadfuls, yeah, because he can. And he has also a column in a society magazine, but not under his real name. So he's pretty industrious.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. Next up, Jen, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hello. My name is Jen. I use the she, her pronouns. I'm playing Fonara Avri, who also uses she, her pronouns. And Fonara has lived a whole other life back in the home nations, which might be nibbling at her butt cheeks right now.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And indeed, it may be. Next up, we know him, but let's hear about the character. Rich, tell us about your character.
You bet. I am playing Aramitz Fleck, the Lajan, or priest of Limier, the drow goddess of light and moonlight. And he is a very dedicated priest who has worked hard to slowly grow a chapel far, far down in the Spire among us. And we'll see how things have developed when we pick up.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Next up is Alex. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Alex. I use he, him, and I'm playing Gerald, and he is the masked. He is the very spy, subterfuge-focused character, and he is diving into the world of the masked god in the service of the ministry and its efforts. And it's, I think, drawing him into the darker elements of ministry work.
Does seem like. And last but certainly not least, Jan, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Jan, he and pronouns. I'll be playing Zordin, also he and pronouns, the knight. Who had a endurance as a duelist. The knights are very much usually more about just drunken debauchery and yeah, fighting and making friends that way. But yeah, no, recently Soren has been having some dreams about I don't know, some weird dudes under the water while a three-faced lady looks on, and you know, the dude under the water may or may not be the saint of the the northern docks, and the three-faced lady, of course, might or might not be the goddess of the moon. But things might be, he might be doing some things.
Awesome, and indeed, that's very exciting. And so we're going to pick up kind of exactly where our last scene from last session ended, with Finara. In front of you is this old woman who has introduced herself as Queen Philippa Steris, and says she wants to do business. She mentioned there something along the lines of, that may not have been the name I knew you by, Finara, when she introduced herself, sort of appearing out of nowhere from a little gaggle of these women, midwives, nuns.
Spooky ladies.
She sort of appeared out of them when they opened up and said this to you. And I'm curious, what do you know of Philippa Steris? Where from your past would you have run across her or one of her servants?
Well, so I did an oopsie doodle, and I kind of posed as one of her granddaughters in order to get into Asteri's family cache while the drowning was starting. And you know, that went great for me up until the next day, when the newly reformed Royal Guard, who had had the same idea as I did, showed up, and they caught me. I was quite caught.
I see. Is this what made you decide the home nations weren't so friendly anymore?
I didn't decide that. I was actively exiled.
Excellent. All right.
You know, I wasn't killed because I did a crime against, you know, the bad people, but I couldn't be suffered to stay because it was quite a large crime.
Makes perfect sense. And so in the craziness of the beginnings of the Civil Wars, you had made your exit. And now here this ancient drow crone stands before you once again. I've been told, Finara, that you are a very dependable businesswoman.
That is, of course, quite true.
I will be coming to Spire soon, and I could use someone of your talents and resources to assist me in procuring some of the finery I deserve.
Finery is to be had aplenty in Spire.
I will also be needing someone who is able to discreetly move certain valuables that I have into more liquid currency.
You're eager for me to handle these valuables. Great, Auntie.
It is, well, you would be someone who is somewhat familiar with the type of thing, if I remember correctly. Discretion will be the key word, of course.
Of course.
I realize that the Steris family has had many maligners over the decades, and it is my hope to change that unfair opinion of us.
Well, I can't say that I was ever particularly political when I lived in the home nations.
This city, it is unfortunate that I see our people so oppressed by foreign invaders.
Better the homegrown kind.
She smiles evilly. Well, when one follows one's true rulers, isn't that a sort of freedom, Fanara?
You're terribly amusing, Great Auntie. I will see you when I see you, perhaps for tea.
I look forward to it. And she steps back, and as she does, these four women just sort of collapse back down around her. And when they move, she's gone. Looking these ladies over, you begin to notice strange things about them as they turn quietly, never speaking, away. One of them, her legs, you would swear, bend in the oddest fashion. The other, as she turns and her hood slips slightly, you see the multifaceted eyes that are underneath. And they move away from your stall.
Seems like an excellent clue as to, wow, how is that old crusty crone still alive?
Meanwhile, Bazaar, you have been writing and getting your name out quite a bit.
Yep.
And I think that it is due to this that when you go to the Gazette to deliver one of your newest articles, that you encounter someone. Well, actually, I think there's probably an assistant who comes up to say, Mr. Czar,
yeah,
you have a visitor, a rather crude young man. He says he's your brother.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay. I know the type. You know, once you've got some fame, you always acquire some brothers or other. I'll take care of them.
Of course, we've left him in the waiting room.
I'll get him out of here.
You head to the waiting room, and indeed, there's your brother. What? First off, his name is what?
Simeon.
Simeon. Give us a description of him.
Simeon, I think when he comes here, he tries to look good, right? So he wears something that is sort of clean, maybe. He looks but he's a rough sort. He's indifferently shaven, maybe. They all have beards, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, and he has a ponytail. He actually could be good looking if he took the least bit of care of himself, or he had the least bit of, I mean, yeah. So yeah, I think he looks a bit overwhelmed by the whole thing here. He's not used to this.
As you come in, he looks up and, Vizar, it's been a long time.
Simeon, my dear, you should not be here. Come with me.
That's no way to greet your brother.
I think you should not be here, because you should be at a very much better place where they have food and something to drink.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Vizar, something to drink would be just lovely.
Yeah, and I'll drag him to the Kraken Bow, I think. I mean, it's too easy to find out that I hang there anyway, so.
As you're walking along, he begins, Father's been inquiring about you.
What does he want? I remember that he booted me out, so.
He sent me up because he's, proud of how you've done so well for yourself.
He wants money now, I guess.
Well, it's only fair, Vizar.
Is it fair? How is it fair? How is it fair?
We
He booted me out.
You. We took care of you. We sent you into the world when you were ready.
He didn't send me into the world. He tried to hide me from the Durans until somebody made him send me. And he wanted me to steal stuff. I remember. I was there. Don't tell me his stories, Sim. I'm better at telling stories than you are.
Find. It's all one thing or the other, but Vizar.
No, it's not, Sim. It's not. It's really not.
Blood is thicker than river water, at least when it's warm.
No, the only good thing the river water did to me was help me with drug poisoning. So.
Well, Vizar. And as you walk up to the Kraken Bell, he looks it over. That drink.
Yeah, that drink. You have that drink. And okay, look, you can't come to the Heavenly Gates, right?
Why not, Vizar? You embarrassed by me?
Yeah, I am. Of course I am. I mean, look at you.
I'm wearing my best. I found this.
Exactly. That's my point. Simeon, look, I've dragged myself out of the Relictus. I don't want you to drag me back down there.
Putting on your airs, wearing your fine clothes, smelling all pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know who I've got to thank for that? Myself. Certainly not you. Certainly not our father.
Vizar. I came up here for a lovely family reunion to tell you how happy I am of my little brother.
So exactly what you're after.
I would think that you would be glad to see that the family cares about you. In fact, sounds like, maybe we should come visit more often. You're losing contact with your roots. Maybe Dad come up, visit your place of business, have a nice conversation with all your co-workers.
Simeon, I will disavow you if you do this, and I will destroy you if you do this.
Destroy us? Yeah. We live in fucking filth.
Yes. Yeah, and so did I. I know where you come from. I know what you want. I will give you some money, Simeon. I will. Yeah. But you won't show up at a place of work. My father won't show up at my place of work. And let me introduce you to this fine gentleman over there, my good friend Sordin. And I wave over to Sordin.
Hi.
His eyes sort of widen.
This is my good friend Sorden, and if you don't believe that I can make trouble for you, I'm pretty sure you can believe that he can.
And may I have the pleasure, sir?
That's no, that's not a sir. That's a parasite.
Simeon.
That's a
Bizarre's
parasite.
brother.
That's a parasite.
Oh, brother. Very fancy.
We came from a darker place. I'm just coming up a little to the light to bask in my brother's glory.
He's come up to have a drink and to blackmail me.
Blackmail is such a terrible word.
I mean, the first part I liked. That was fine. Did you share durance or anything like that?
I never had endurance. Father didn't think it was appropriate.
Oh, you didn't have endurance.
No, that's
fancy pants.
Fancy, please. I had to keep food on the table. Food that the Tsar here ate.
How did you do that then?
We're rivermen. We find what we can.
Okay. Scavengers, okay.
Yeah. So
well,
you see,
mean, it's fine. Hey, power to you if the knights didn't find you. The scavengers.
No need for you to bring your heavy over, Bizarre. I'm sure you're a very nice man, Mr. Sorden.
Sir Sorden. Use the appropriate.
Knight Admiral Sorden, actually.
Oh, sorry. So, Simeon,
I apologize.
Let's get some good food into you and a good drink, and then I give you a purse, and you go away, and don't show up again. If you want something from me, you can ask our sister to talk to me. Okay?
I can recommend you on some good drinks.
They're very fancy.
A drink would certainly go a long way. Thank you. And so you get him food which he eats noisily and messily, and drink which he will drink copiously. And then you slide him some stin.
Yeah, I will. I will give him a purse. I just want him to get out of my hair.
As he's gotten quite a bit of drink into him, he will begin telling some somewhat embarrassing stories of Bizarre's youth disorder.
I will get some very, very strong drink into him very quickly.
That just makes it worse.
No, that will make him slur stuff. He's not used to that.
Has he read you any of his poetry? Oh, the poetry when he was a kid. Oh, why you know anything about poetry, Simeon. Like you know anything about anything. Because there was a man from down Spire who's well, never mind. That's not appropriate, I guess.
It's not. It's really not. It's a limerick. It was a pretty good limerick, though. And I'm drunk as well, so.
And he'll take the stin and he will kind of move in closer to you and try to give you a hug as he's leaving.
Yeah, well, go.
He says, you should come see Pa.
Yeah, no way.
He really is sort of proud of you.
He just wants money. Go away, Simeon. If you want to talk to me, talk to Marzi.
He can want two things. And he turns around and walks off.
I need something stronger. Damn it. Family. I will then complain to Sorden about my family. Not very coherently.
Yeah, I'll just be like, I get it. But why are you still interacting with this person?
He showed up at my place of work.
Yes. And you did not show him the door.
I took him out. I mean, he's my brother.
I have had I have a lot of brothers now.
Yeah, they are nice,
And
but
yes, you choose the family. That's much better.
should have listened to you. Yeah, well, it's not that easy. It's not that easy.
Very good. We're going to switch scene to the chapel. Aramitz, Yvette is there, and she's been spending quite a bit more time here at the chapel. And
interesting.
She, part of it is you can tell she wants to be around you. Part of it, though, is she has been interested in having you teach her some of the like the doctrine of the lady, and kind of coming on a little as a student.
Do I have the feeling that this is a genuine interest, or is she purely motivated by a desire to spend more time with me?
It seems like it's legitimate. It seems sincere.
Okay.
And you get the impression that creating that artwork, she really felt touched a little by the lady in its process.
Blessing.
Yeah. But she's been coming, you've been giving her some teachings. And so this afternoon, Aramitz, I've been considering something.
Yes? What is that?
You once told me that my art can work towards the glory of the lady, as well as my own muse.
Yes.
I was thinking that perhaps I could go to the cathedral and study more. And I've considered devoting myself to the lady.
What a wonderful thing to consider.
It wouldn't bother you?
Why would it bother me?
Well, you are, of course, a respected clergyman, and I didn't want it to seem as though I were coming and stepping on your toes.
Yvette, I'm sorry that I've given you the impression in some way that would ever be the truth. You are so welcome here. Limier's arms can embrace us both. I'm delighted to hear that you're even considering it. Have you spoken with your mother?
Briefly, you know her opinions of religion.
She was not receptive.
She told me that I was compounding useless skills.
A very creative objection, she voiced. And how do you feel about that?
At first, I was angry, and then I asked the lady to give me wisdom. And I realized that so many of my decisions have been because I thought it would make my mother angry. But this one, I decided despite that.
That is key. I know that you have had a fraught relationship with your mother, and I sometimes worry if you do things because you feel that it's right, or to either please or spite her. But if you did this despite her opinion, if this consideration is wholly of your own between you and Limier, it's a blessing. I think you should pursue, find out more information. I can go with you if you would like.
I would like that. She reaches out and takes your hand. And this wouldn't change what, at least I hope, is growing between us.
So I'll check out. Do we imagine that there's like anything to do with Limier about relationships within the?
I wouldn't think so. I certainly don't think it didn't seem like you taking any sort of vow of celibacy or anything. So.
But then once two people within the same organization, I just want to see if that changes the.
What do you think?
I could see I could see some people thinking, wow, well, this could create a weird power dynamic if they worked in the same chapel kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that as a potential.
Do we say not forbidden, but perhaps looked askance at?
I could see that. It's like they're definitely going to question. Anyone that has an agenda will definitely question this as being inappropriate. It's the kind of thing that will be talked about in hushed whispers and little gossipy parts of the church type deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely the sort of thing that Dances in the Lights would make hay from.
Oh, yes, of course. So much hay.
All right. So she would change what I hope is growing between us?
Of course not.
And you think something is growing between us as well?
I can't deny what is obvious.
She smiles. No, that would be foolish to deny.
Exactly.
And she will lean in and give you a big old smooch.
Aramis is into it.
Excellent.
Yeah, he's not going to escalate because we're in the chapel and I just don't want people to walk in and you know how things go, but he is definitely interested in a smooch.
Cool. Then we may see more of like a flash set of you going up to the cathedral. We see over the next couple of days her finding out more information, and that indeed she's going to go and be a student in the cathedral. And you know the process, that it is not an enormously long process to become clergy, because it wasn't a terribly long process for you to become clergy.
It's true.
So we know, so that's what she's doing. We see her beginning to move in that direction, and she's going to be multi-classing as a little Jean.
Yay, multi-classing. Idle Lejean. That is quite the combo.
Sordin. During this next days or two, there is a bit of talk of your successful that was some time ago, never mind. There has been some talk, though, that over these months you have been seen as favored by the Duke and have been sent on some rather I won't say like light work, but certainly high payoff type of assignments.
Yeah.
Where real plum projects, things that you go and do you think your brethren are happy about that, or you think there's some jealousy?
Oh, there's jealousy. But to be fair, Sordin is also going like, it's been ages since I needed to fight anyone.
And so, there's a bit of a grumble here and there about the Duke's little pet and all that sort of thing. And I think that it is at this point then that one of your brethren has said something, probably a bit in his cups, a little too offensive. Well, you know, if I'm surprised that Zordan's not any jobs that are so easy for the Duke Zordan's been doing. Surprised he's not sharing a bed with the Duchess at this point, you know, taking on the Duke's light work.
Really?
He kind of looks over and sees that you overheard. Screws up his courage. I mean, just saying. Seems like you're getting all the best jobs. The rest of us are still scrambling for Halfston.
Maybe you should have done a better job earlier then.
I fought loyally for my Duke.
So have I. Are you saying that I haven't? Are you implying anything, sir?
I'm just saying it seems like one good little piece of luck, and now you're riding on easy street. I don't know if there was so much skill there, as you sure do spend a lot of time with people out of the order. Maybe that's where your little advantage is coming from.
Possibly. I mean, you do get some good teaching moments outside of the order as well, I have to say.
You could have taken your brothers along, though. Then we all might have been rising up.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? You're right. I do feel kind of guilty about that. But if you're saying now that it was easy, then I invite you to try and find out how easy it was.
You challenging me, Sorton?
Oh no, I'm offering you to challenge me.
There's a bit of a rabble inside. Well, it ain't like I'm scared. I'm as good a knight as you any day, Sorton.
I'm sure you are. I know you are a good knight. Whether or not you're as good as me, that's something that we might have to find out then.
I'm going to ask, are you trying to intimidate him down? Or are you trying to goad him into a fight?
I think I'm trying to goad him into a fight to get all the other people to afterwards back off.
Makes sense. I think he pulls off his gauntlet, throws it down. Then get your lance. I'll show you.
Why? Do you mind if I take my broadsword instead?
That's not how a joust is handled.
I mean, I can take a lance. It's fine. Don't mind. You want to do a proper joust?
Of course.
Proper joust. I don't do those very often, but I've learned.
He smiles and I think you realize this is a fairly tough guy. He's had his fights over the years. He says, well, I don't want to kill you. First blood?
Oh, first blood is fine.
See him stand up and he a little bit stagger. Mr. La-di-da, upscale duelist. Maybe needs a little bit of a lesson of how we fight it down here.
Wait, are we going to? Oh, are we going to be jousting on our boats then? Oh, you don't have one. Okay. Well, I mean, however you would like it.
He yells over, "Stand at my lance!" And he goes stomping out the front door to the street. Thorza comes over. Sir Sorden, shall I get your lance?
Yes, please. I mean, actually, I don't actually own one, so
I have always had a lance for you, Sir Sorden.
oh, fuck, you're useful.
Yes, Sir Sorden. She will kind of roll her eyes. Don't get yourself hurt.
Either way, if I don't do this, well, no, if I do this, and I lose, then it's fine. Then everyone's like, haha. But if I don't do it, then they're all just still gonna go like, oh,
You are right.
and honestly, and if I do win, then they're gonna fuck off. So
I cannot argue with your reasoning, Sir Sorden.
well, you can, but
I shan't. And so she retrieves your lens and you meet outside. The crowd is starting to build up. Of course, all the Kraken Bell crew are out and some are starting to place their bets. The general mill of people around are also watching. They are used to a good joust and tend to enjoy it. And you can see there's betting going on there. People are teaming off to choose who they're going to pull for. There's a loud noise. Seemingly out of nowhere, a person shows up pushing a cart with rat on a stick.
of course, it's not a party if there's no red on a stick.
And so Thorza hands you your lance, and across the way, probably about 20 yards distance, you can see that we'll call him Grieve. Sir Grieve has pulled his lance out. He's straightening his armor and getting ready. And as you know, the joust is basically running at each other with your lances leveled and hitting each other.
I mean, it could have been like rowboats running at each other, and
It's true.
but he doesn't have one.
He does not. And so, the joust begins. This will be a roll, and I think that it's going to be going off of fight and low society.
That's also fair. Yeah.
I
I think it's a duel, so I have a knack for that.
You do. And let's see. Crowd watching you. Your attacks have the brutal tag.
I mean, not just because there's a crowd watching me, but also because I'm a jouster.
Oh, yes.
I would say that that's still like, especially during a joust, I think that jousters should count, but I don't think it counts double. Or do I get to roll triple damage and then get? I don't know.
I don't think it counts double.
Probably not. Like I was thinking that, but like I mean, if it does, then I'm not going to say no.
All right. You're going in at him. He has a difficulty of 1. So remove 1 from your dice, and I think you had 4.
Yep. So I roll 3 dice. Oof.
How did you do?
It's a 4.
Oh, B. So that's a miss and stress. If you would be so kind as to roll me a D8 of blood and armor.
Yeah, I can do that. a 3.
All right. Does that get through your armor?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Blood and armor is 5.
Nice. And so his first pass, he does this sort of like move out with the butt of the lance to shift yours to the side and then whack you solidly with the flat of his right in your helmet. As your head rings from it and you pass each other, he trots to the side. Oh, well, Sir Sarden, not so impressive, are we? The crowd kind of. Woo.
I think Sarden is going like he's just going to talk to his lovely squire. Like, there's your lance needs work. Turn around and like like he's not taking the responsibility for this one.
Sir Sorden, perhaps I should have mentioned you should avoid being hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
Pat, pat, pat on your shoulder. As you...
My lovely squire.
As you gain full speed and charge at each other again.
Come on. Can't keep rolling that. There's a 10. I mean, the other ones were 1 and a 2, so it was...
What trick do you do to avoid his blow and strike a resounding one on him?
I mean, it's gonna be... Yeah, I mean, he's expecting a, going at each other. And I think Sorden, like, he's been fighting in a ring. He doesn't care. So he just, like, leans backwards, dodges, and then just goes, whoop.
There is the solid thunk of your lance hitting. Let's see what your damage is. So rolling twice, taking the highest, D8.
Would you like an 8 or an 8?
You thump him solidly, and you hear that kind of wrenchy metal sound as your lance penetrates through his armor and into his shoulder, and and you can see as he falls back, there's blood. That was hardly fair. You didn't charge past me.
You will find that I did, and I hit you, sir. Do you yield, sir?
Looks around the crowd. The crowd is starting to give a little jeer and call, and it is about that moment that the head of the Kraken Bell Order steps out and says, "You call to first blood. Are you denying that you're bleeding?" And he looks down at his shoulder and seeing that he cannot deny that he is bleeding. "I yield, Sir Sorden, reluctantly." And he drops to one knee.
I mean, Sorden is on a roll, so he's definitely going to like, are you sure? Because we could definitely do another pass. If
his eyes flash with anger, and you see him about to stand as the head of your order goes, "Sir Sorden, victory should be done with honor."
Of course. And I will actually then, like, after that small reminder of like, all right, I should be generous about this, and like I'll reach out a hand to him to help him back up. And
he reaches out and you pull him up as your head of order walks over carrying 2 mugs a beer, hands them both. In a fight between ourselves, we show how strong we are. So Zordon, you are a victor. Sir, and I gave him a name and now I've done forgot it.
Yes.
Grieve?
Greaves,
Yeah.
that's it. Sir Greaves, even in defeat, you fought with honor. The Kraken Bell are the strongest fighters on the streets.
That
To the
we are.
Kraken Bell!
To the Kraken Bell.
And the crowd cheers, and those that have lost money grumble a bit. But as you move away, Greaves looks at you and says, "No hard feelings, Zordon."
Not at all. But seriously, it wasn't easy. Yes, I've had some easy assignments, and you will get those too. But that's not how I got here.
He gives a nod. I'm sorry. I was speaking out of turn.
Yeah, I know. I've done the same.
Let me buy
And
you a
ended
beer.
up on my face quite a few times because of it.
He leans over and kind of looks at a dent in your helmet. I gave you a pretty good wallop, though.
Yeah, fuck. It's just gonna add to my hangover.
He laughs as y'all head back into the Kraken Bell.
Mm.
Gerald, you receive a visitor in your rooms. We're gonna say it's late night. You probably weren't asleep but resting. When you take note, in the corner of the room, several spiders begin crawling out of the cracks. And as you watch, they begin spinning rapidly, faster than any spider should, making a web across the corner. And then you hear a voice. Gerald, are you free for a visitor? It's McCareth.
If you give me a moment to make myself presentable. I calmly walk over. Think about burning this location as one of my rooms and pour a drink from a pail of water.
A few moments later, the web sort of shimmers slightly as McCareth steps through.
A mission?
What'd you say?
Do we have a target?
I do have a mission, not a target. We need information, Gerald. I'm sorry to come so to your private areas, but there's strange things afoot, not only in Spire, but in the ministry itself. I've begun to wonder if some of the cells have been compromised.
Has there been activity that we should be questioning?
I have had word from the head council that several missions encountered problems along their way. Problems that point to a mole or someone aware of us spreading the information about. But that is not the mission that I've come to you about. That we will discover internally. I have found there is something new in Spire, something I have heard rumors of in the old home nations, but not seen here. It worries me, and I would know more about it. Have you ever heard of slivers?
The the giving of abilities?
Yes, at its base, but it is a magic that is very dangerous.
Demonic?
Dark. I do not know if it is demonic, but I would like to know. I would also like to know more of their history. It's said that they can do truly amazing things. Make you stronger, make you go without food or air, make you live indefinitely. But the old rumor I remember is it was used to enslave. I fear that there is a new power afoot in Spire. And it could... No.
Drow?
I have heard rumors the drowned kings have come to Spire.
They still have power?
It is hard to completely kill something so ancient. They are mostly anthema in the home nations. They lurk and linger.
I'm sure the Spire Drow have little interest in them.
They are reviled by most drow. We know of their terrible reputation. But they could be dangerous. And these slivers were tools of theirs of old. Seeing them here, it is worrisome. I need you and your cell to find out as much as you possibly can about them. The only place I know for sure will know about them is the Vermilion, there we go, the Vermilion Vault.
Vermilion Vault.
I don't know if you have ever gone through the Vermilion ways, have you?
Only in passing.
They are extremely dangerous. They are not wholly of this world. But the sages, they have collected knowledge so vast that there is nothing like it anywhere else on Decima. We have a cell who can provide you passage into the ways. From there, you would have to find the vault yourself.
That we can do.
There are, among the sages, those who are sympathetic to our cause. You should find that they are at least initially open to hearing from you. Whether they will give up their knowledge they hoard so jealously. Your cell is remarkably capable in diplomacy and bargaining.
I know just the ones.
I should tell you, this mission is not from the ministry or the council. It is from me, Gerald.
You fear them all?
I do not know yet who to fear, and therefore I fear them all.
A wise stance.
When you return, tell me of what you have learned. And be careful, Gerald. The ways, they are mysterious. Even the most wise Vermilion mage can get lost. And she will step back towards the corner of your room. And as she reaches the cobwebs, she moves back into them as they kind of move around her. And then just wisps of them fall to the ground.
I think I make like notes and then just sigh as I just remove all evidence of my existence in this room and disappear into the night.
Excellent. Why don't we take a bio here? All right, and so we're back, and Gerald, while you're tossing your room and getting it out of there, you do find she has left you a message, kind of obscure, but it says moat, and then it says Polaris Station. You're guessing that's the contact she mentioned. And so, folks, and we have the map. I'll show folks the map here real quick. Folks at home, because there's an awesome, cool map. This is Polaris Station in Derelictus. And you guys, y'all are, let's see, this is Red Row, which is the level right below you. Sapphire level is where y'all stay, generally speaking. And then one further down is Derelictus, which is a very dangerous place. And I believe perhaps where you are from, Vazar.
Yep.
And so, as we see there, just because we got a cool map, I'll mention a little showing it. Cool things there, the Corpse Grove, the gigantic bird cage, which seems rather literally named. Hemlock Fruit Market is there.
I spot the Flying Amber.
The Flying Amber, that's right. Y'all all did go down to Derelictus, so y'all know this area a bit. And I will stop sharing now. And to give a quick reminder, this is stuff that everybody will know. And I will often mispronounce Vermisian. I say it several different ways, but the Vermisian Ways Network were a whole bunch of tubes that were designed to have trains going up and down Spire and change all of, how we move around Spire and make it easier for transport. And so these humans came in a little over 100 years ago and were going to make it for the Elfir who had conquered the, Spire not terribly long before then. And it was going to be this great renovation to help Spire show that they were doing good work. And then they cut lots of corners, like safety for the drow workers who were building it. And the humans had very ambitious goals in making this. Things like, well, it should be really fast, and maybe we don't need in-between spaces for it to go through. That would make it faster. And they delved too deep, as it were. The network was supposed to go all the way down to the very bottom of Spire. And clawing through the actual construction makeup of Spire, it began to have problems. People disappearing, people changing, and eventually it was abandoned. The Vermisian sages are groups of drow who have gone in to study its many mysteries. And it has become a strange and weird place where the boundaries of dimensions and such planes is very thin. So, Cheryl, I think probably you would be finding the group, wouldn't you? Trying to get everyone together? You are muted, my love.
So it's always funny to wait until they say the first syllable and go like, "You are muted."
Yeah. I think because of this talk of a mole, I don't bring the team together at the Kraken Bell, much to Zordin's annoyance, maybe. Where do we think like a backup meeting place would be? Have we met anywhere before? Oh, we've met at the Aramit's chapel. I think a new place. I think somewhere I've scouted out somewhere. I think you approach like an alley. You have to approach an alleyway. A young kid would come up and like eyeball you, and then point you in a direction. Whereas I've like hired an alleyway or a little crevice hidden away between buildings area for us to meet. And I think from like a side house, chairs, a table, just in the middle of an alleyway.
Excellent. Everyone brought together, everyone follow your person that has led you, and you come to this little safe house that Gerald has set up.
Love what you've done with the place.
Well, it was a little bit drab before, so. And I couldn't have you just sitting on the cold cobbles. Anyway, as you can see, and I'm sure I've explained everything I heard from Mariketh. We have a task. With mention of a mole, I thought maybe the Kraken Bell was not the wisest.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Did you bring anything to drink since we're not at the Kraken Bell?
I mean, this may be rude, but I kind of assumed Zordin would.
And you're correct, sir.
I think I put glasses down on the table, though. Like, I just expect it.
Oh, yeah, I guess I can pour it out into glass. That's fine.
Oh, salvation from my parched state. Marvelous.
Hmm.
So, slippers.
Yes, and the sages.
Hmm.
I mean,
So, do we know where we can find these sages?
I just point down.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
How close were they to Derelictus? Was it?
Uh,
I didn't quite get.
Polaris Station.
Polaris Station is in Derelictus. That's there on the map. And of course, the tunnels, the ways writhe up through all over Spire. Anywhere you see a little symbol like that's an old station. There are several ways in. In a lot of cases, these are guarded by gangs, but you know, it is accessible. Going without a guide is highly discouraged.
Yeah, there are things in there, you know. When I was a kid, I went in one and there are things in there. Also, you can get lost. I hear. I didn't get lost. I didn't go in.
Fortunate for all of us.
Most of all for me. But the guard.
Is there anyone down there that you would trust as a guide, Lazar?
No. I mean, you don't go into Derelictus and trust anybody. That's not how it works down there. You don't trust people. There are people who won't murder you. If there are definitely people who won't murder you if you have a sword in, but because you can murder them back a lot better.
Murdering back is a general good strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brings everything into balance, really.
Yeah.
So before we get too deeply into discussion of weirding ways that we should not tread, but will. I need to figure out how to tell this story.
Oh, then you should ask Vizar.
Yeah.
Vizar, how should I tell this story?
What story do you want to tell and to whom do you want to tell it?
Well, I want to tell it to you and our marvelous table mates. And it is the story of how I understand more about our situation than might be expected. So how should I tell it?
I would start at the beginning. That is always a good start with the beginning.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Or you can go into medias res and just start with the problem and then work your way back. Also, that keeps attention, you know.
Ooh, that's very active, but I'm not sure what the problem is.
Colder now.
So, back in my youngest years, I lived a life of crime, to put it in the simplest terms. I was a cut purse and a confidence artist of no particular renown, but some particular skill. It all seemed quite fair to me at the time.
Did your durance?
Oh no, this was well before my durance, back in the home nations.
Okay.
When I was scant over 18 years of age.
Oh,
Practically a booger flung onto the world.
Barely hatched.
Barely hatched.
mm-hmm.
So
we all did terrible things when we were 18.
I mean, of course, that's just part of growing up.
I think I'm looking at Aramis.
Oh, yes. Yes, we've all done terrible things. All of us are sinners.
Shouldn't spend so much time with Father Callus. Sorry, Fanara, go on.
Don't have drinks with the man. Anyhow, So there was the time when the home nations were in civil war, and being sick myself of my current fortune-telling gigs, which fortune-telling is a very dicey business, because if you're not good enough at it, then you don't really make any money. But if you're too good at it, you actually start drawing the attention of smaller gods and other things. Just don't do it. The balance is too fine. I decided on a few tips to go out to a Steris family vault and pose as the crown princess and steal everything inside of it.
I'm gonna tell you where you went wrong there. Or, no, never mind. I think you know.
I think it's a ballsy move, though.
Well,
I'm assuming getting caught is the...
So the very next day, the Royal Guard, having had the same idea in their own cause to fund the rest of rebuilding the nation and slaughtering all of the Steris family, found me and could not quite understand what to do with me. On the one hand, I had committed a massive crime, and on the other hand, I had done so against a much loathed party. So I was exiled here into Spire and delivered directly to my Durance.
Fortunate for us, I guess.
Fortunate for us all. My Durance was a highly productive time, wherein I came into a new understanding of money and its purpose.
Good.
I feel this is not the end.
This is not the end of the story.
I was gonna say that I feel a butt, and I don't mean I'm not touching anyone's butt here, but I feel a butt.
There's a but.
See?
I was approached earlier today by my great auntie, Queen Philipperia Steris. And she would like my help as she moves into the city, acquiring the fine things that she so deserves to be surrounded by, and smuggling in goods from the home nations for the purpose of creating a pool of liquid assets.
Okay. Not Elfir.
No. But the Steris family is known to utilize, perhaps produce, understand slivers. So
yeah,
There is a connection.
I mostly know Elfir families because that's the ones that would send their champions up against me.
Valuable knowledge. My knowledge of the families of the home nations is a little decayed by my distance, but is still there. I maintained a neutrally frosty position in discussion with Philippira because that's generally the best, and also because she had 4 attendants that I'm fairly certain would kill me very easily should they desire.
So if she moves into the city, she would be in a position of the Elfir, if I read that properly.
Well,
I mean, if she claims to be a queen, then she can hardly suffer the Elfir being lords, could she?
she could not. She quite plainly disdains the state of situation in Spire, that the Drow are oppressed and that the Elfir are on high. And for a population here in the city of Drow who also don't enjoy being oppressed and rising up the Elfir, but don't have much knowledge or understanding of the Steris family, she could make an appealing alternative.
I'm going to give a quick run through, just very quick, and then we might come to a couple of rolls, see if people know something more. Spire is, of course, ruled by the Elfir, and there is a council that is supposed to be the ruling council. We remember that our old friend Joshua had retired from it. At the moment, there is only one drow on that council.
Oh.
They are a noble drow, of a noble drow house.
One of the Quins?
I believe it is one of the Quins. I can look it up. I'll look it up
now.
Yeah. I can tell you here in a moment, but
how many seats are in the council?
It is varied, but it is worth saying one drow seat on the council is not much. So you're looking, it could go up to a dozen. It's, right now so it would be fair to say there's 9 or 10.
Okay. That's
and the way that this drow got up there was by being a devoted follower of the Alfir Order, and being rich, buying their way onto the council.
Collaborator.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Money.
Yes. So it would be, it is not easy to get onto the council, and but that is who kind of runs things. There are still the drow noble houses that are here. It's kind of why I ran over them a little bit last time, who do their own bit of politicking, are quite wealthy, but all of them having to do it under, the hand of the Alfir.
Mm-hmm.
So, we could have, if you want, I'd have maybe one person if they want to look and see what they know about slivers, which would be investigate and probably occult. And we could have someone who might want to know about how, the setup politically of the council, the drow houses are. And that would probably also be an investigate, and then high society. And Rich, you still need to roll, I think, your things, don't you?
I do. I'll roll me a quick D10 and we'll see how the things go.
Rich, I just wanted to point out in your resist on your character keeper section, there's an M instead of a checkbox.
Yeah, that was to try to represent
the previous roll.
Yep, it was because of the previous tower thing that I had mastery in that. I just stuck myself a note to remind myself, which will change because now I'm about
There's a new roll now.
Tower of 5, which means the river, the pursue skill, and +1 mind. Oh, interesting. Oh, and I lost that blood and armor. That's right.
But you get mastery and pursudo.
Now I get mastery and pursue. So I'll go here.
You're our pursuing.
Did I can't even remember if I had resist before. I think it did. Because I would have taken. Because I think that's how I got mastery.
Otherwise you wouldn't have gotten mastery.
Yeah. And I get +1 mind. So I'll just put that as 3. And I'll color it red with a little note.
All right.
Thank you.
So, who would like to roll about slivers?
I would like to do that because I've got both investigate and occult, and maybe conspiracies could work in my favor here. I don't know.
I think so.
Okay. And I have to open up the dice roller, right?
Yes,
which I haven't
probably
yet.
do.
I haven't yet.
I think Kanar is going to be the one that's going to do the high society roll. Oh, actually, Fizar can do it. No.
Yeah, but I don't want to roll. Don't want to do everything.
No.
That's fine. I'm the only one who's got investigate though, right? I see.
No. Panara has it as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you're right. Then. Okay, I'll roll the I've got my ruler open.
Funar has a distinct lack of occult, so you should do that one.
Yes,
and Funar
I will
can
do
the
that
other
one.
one. And
Yes, I will do I get 1 die because I'm here, and then I get 1 die for occult and 1 die for investigate and 1 die for mastery for the thingies.
And does someone help Fizzle?
Yeah.
If somebody helps me, then I would get another die.
I mean, I don't know anything about the occult.
No, I think you
Or
have
about
to.
investigation for that matter.
So I
So
guess
I would. I would offer some help since it looks like Finar might be doing the second one. I was waiting to see if Gerald wanted to jump in, but I am happy to offer some assistance. Oh yes, I think this. Although I don't actually have a occult domain, I'll just give a religious angle on it.
That sounds excellent.
Cool. Then I take another die. Thank you, Armits. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, that goes reasonably well. It's an 8.
Excellent.
And you got 5 dice? Jeez.
I know occult shit. I do.
All right. What you know about the slivers, and it would have been something you studied, of course, in the library over your time there. Yeah. They are a drow technology of their own. It's not human. It is something that the drow came up with on their own. They use shards of crystal, stone, or metal and insert it into flesh and stone, or sorry, flesh and bone. And it rewrites sort of the makeup of the drow's body, producing various effects that can cause changes. The means of making them are back in the home nation, and the family Steres was indeed known for being the primary patrons. In fact, they're so dangerous, and the Steres were so hated in the home nations that quite a few of the nations illegalized the manufacture and sale of these slivers. So even back home, they've gotten where they're not known much. They have a dark magical element to them, but they are not demonic per se. They, like most magic, take a toll on those who use it. Nothing comes for free. It can do all sorts of effects, make people tremendously strong or tough, or it can take the memories and abilities of someone and give them to another. It can change your face. It can make you no longer need to sleep. It can let you see in the dark, absolute and perfect dark, or let you see things that mortal eyes simply aren't meant to see. There is also a high lethality for those who do it, or a high probability of something terrible going on. Many people die from sliver implantation. There we go. And perhaps the thing that you remember most horrifying is that some slivers make you a slave of a dominant sliver. You do as you are ordered, or you suffer hideous, incapacitating pain.
There are also, I read that there are also slivers who make you quite happy if you serve the dominant sliver.
Maybe you saw a little piece of that somewhere.
That's even more horrifying.
Ugh.
Yeah, the description really weirded me. A new pleasure organ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It's not pretty. It's not pretty what you can do with these things. I mean, you can do. I mean, not having to sleep. You know how much I could write if I didn't have to sleep. Of course, your dreams would still come out, so that would be weird. But you know, it's always a price.
Don't worry. There's many ways that you can not have to sleep.
I need at least a few hours a day in which to not experience the world, regardless of what I can or can't do while I'm awake.
I have tried most of these sorting, but there's always this price to pay. Then you need to sleep more afterwards, or you start rambling about rats, or well, never mind that.
There's some lovely. There's some lovely. Let me just go. There's some lovely things that can help you with that.
Okay. I'll hit you up.
No. I shouldn't have said that.
Venara, would you like to maybe
daggers from Gerald Zordon?
maybe roll to know a little of the noble culture, both here and at home nations?
Oh, show. Oop.
I would love to help.
Sweet.
Because I know a bit about noble culture.
One for showing up. One for the domain, one for the skill, one for Sorten's help.
Absolutely.
Rolling it. An 8, a 10, and a 7.
Very good. With your 8.
It's a 10.
Oh, a 10. Oh, whoops. I'm sorry. All right. With a 10. You know that the noble houses here in Spire have basically accepted that second-class status because they know that the vast majority of people are third or fourth class status, so they still get to be above most people. It is not the same as it used to be when they were in charge, obviously, but they still have great sums of money, people that, they use, servants, that sort of thing, private little armies of their own. While back at the home nations, the war that continues on endlessly is house on house, often, or this in this city, or this, because most of the nations are actually just a city state. It'll be a couple of houses have joined together to take control of it and wage war on someone nearby. And depending on where you are geographically, those houses may not be the same working together somewhere else. They may be at war somewhere else, or it is a hodgepodge of crazy, constant bickering amongst the houses in the home nation. Steres has managed over the ages upon ages of being in exile, or the time that they've been hated, which is practically forever, but since their exile and mostly destruction, have been the butt of the nobility when they're accepted at all. There are people that are, groups that will just hunt them down on sight. Rumors abound of what they are and have done. Rumors such as that the Steres actually aren't drow anymore. That each generation is possessed by a ghost from the past of the Steres house. And at this point, there are no Steres that have, been alive truly themselves in, hundreds of years. That in fact, it is an ancient Steres that just inhabits a body for a while and then moves on to the next body when that one grows old. There are rumors that they accepted dark pacts, which gave them their abilities, magical and dark, because everyone agrees the Steres have some sort of otherworldly powers. Those are just rumors. You're not sure of the facts of those. But one fact you are certain of is that the Steres do indeed have an extremely tight-knit bond with them, with each other, and with anyone that serves them, to the point that those women that you saw with the queen were probably Sterry's midwives, which are assigned as guardians of their hired nobles and absorb anything that would hurt them. Their servants are said to be able to communicate with each other silently, or are able to combine themselves into something else. But there is no doubt that they some dark power is there for the Sterries to control. Here in Spire, it's a place that refugees from the home nations come to all the time. There are Sterries who have given up any sort of sense of nobility, like your friend that was with Joshua, Fredea. She really didn't claim the Sterries' name or the nobility. But Spire has the same sort of prejudices against the Sterries as a noble house as the rest of the home nations. They would look at them in fear and suspicion. And just as a general view, of the council, our one drow, which is a Quinn, managed to get there purely off of money and has relatively little power because the Alfir barely listen. But it is possible for a drow house to get on the council with enough guile, obsequience, and money. So, all right, there's our little bits of information that you all have. You've been given a place where you have a contact that can get you into the Vermisian network at Polaris Station. Do you wish to head on over there, or would you like to do something beforehand? Gerald?
I'm wondering what preparation we would, if there'll be any specific.
I mean, I need to let my assistant know at least that I'm going there, or that I'm going on a investigation thingy, So I mean, this is not, this could be, we could be a day or so. We're going into the Vermisian thingy. So.
Are you leaving your assistant behind?
What would she do there? I mean, she takes notes for me.
Learn. There's a you are coming.
Okay. If you think it's a good idea, sure, I can take her with me. I mean, if she wants to. Oh, she will want to. Yeah, she's my niece, so she will want to. She will ask all of you very, very many questions. So, and I'm looking at Gerald.
And I will answer none of them.
Yes, I am aware, but that will not. You understand that will just make it more interesting. She's my niece. No, I don't particularly trust her, but I mean, she's a kid. Okay, she's not that old. She's not that old, but I don't think she will betray us or anything like that.
How old is she?
We know she lives.
How old? Come
on. 18, I think.
Terrible.
Yes.
There's a let Fazar know. How old are you?
Come on, Thirza. How old are you?
She will give you an evil look, Sorten, and say...
I know. I'm doing it for that reason.
18.
Great. Then we can bring Joris along.
An incredible fluke. The exception that proves the rule.
No. It just means at that age, you need to be exposed to some things.
So, going to take a day or so to get affairs in order and then meet up and head to the station.
Yep. Collect goal sets so that I don't get a lecture.
You will definitely think you should have someone and tell you going into the network is very dangerous, madam. I am... Mistress, I would prefer you not do this.
Are you not letting him come again?
Oh, he's coming, I think.
Oh yeah, he's coming.
Yeah.
He just would prefer that I not do this. And like, Golison, I understand, but this is a part of my duty to our people.
As you say, mistress.
I like those.
All right.
You know, he knows where his duties lie.
What's not to like about Goloset? I mean,
Yeah.
he's quiet. He's the silent, strong type. I mean, I had a thing for people like that.
Looks real
for
good
a
in
long
a
time.
suit. Yep. Yep.
He's also
Fills
good
that real
looking.
nicely.
I was mostly just looking for the NPC sheet and going like, where is he? Where is he?
Where is he? He's right. Where is
He's
he?
on there.
Yeah, no, there he is. I found him. He's in C12.
Well,
All right, there. Yeah. Okay.
are those some little kind of side beard things?
No, it's a.
No, no.
He's got a popped collar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and I'm
was going to
taking
say it was a look.
It's an affectation from his wrestling days.
Mhm.
I think it's very fashionable.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
I
he was
think so, too.
a bad guy prep from an 80s movie, but okay. I like
Yeah,
the,
yes.
All right. So
Okay.
with things set up, things expecting to be away a few days, perhaps, you all meet up. You're taking your assistant, even though this is
Yes.
quite dangerous. All
I'm
right.
taking.
We
Sure.
need
I
to
mean,
roll for our bonds with our assistants for that, or
Sordin said I should, so I am.
Yeah. Thor's is willing to go with you
Really?
regardless.
I mean, I have a bond.
Right. I think she intends, like Gola said, she sort of sees herself by you. Your bonds will be tested in things you ask her to do. Bazaar, let's. Do we have a bond with your assistant?
I don't
We
know.
should
I
have a
should.
bond with her.
Right. I mean, if she doesn't want to come, she doesn't have to. She thinks it's too dangerous for her, then she doesn't know. I have a bond with her. I think. Yeah, there she is. I'm not dragging her.
It's always good to give some. Like, even if they're just NPCs that are just being dragged around, we should give them a bit more agency than just like, I pull you here.
Yeah. So let's roll the bond so we can see whether or not she feels like she's wanting to go.
Okay.
So you have one for the bond.
Okay.
This is not her neighborhood.
No.
Investigations, I guess that's maybe in her wheelhouse, though.
Yeah, I think so.
So 2 dice.
2. Okay. And I don't get one standard die for just being
Not
there.
for this.
Okay, cool.
Well, for the bond. You get 1 for the bond is the standard.
I've got a 10, though. It seems like she wants to go.
She is willing to go with you if you think she can be of assistance, and she seems. I've never been inside of the networks.
You've never even, kid. You need to be more curious than that.
Well, they're said to be deadly, Vizar.
They are. But I went there when I was a kid. Your mother went in there when she was a kid.
Well, I'm certainly not scared. I'm ready to go.
That's what I want to hear. Come on. And if anything dangerous happens, hide behind Goloset. He's big, he's strong, and he is
Sorin looks slightly insulted at that.
Sordin is also big and strong, but Sordin is charging into danger. That's his thing. You don't hide behind the guy who's charging into danger. No, Sordin. No. Goloset is the one who is standing there and being protective. You're the one who's going in there and being punchy.
I prevent the danger from coming
That
to the
is
back.
true. That is so true. And we value you for this immensely.
See?
And so
See?
you have this conversation as you're walking down Spire and down to Derelictus. Polaris Station once was beautiful. Think something like Victoria Station, or the Chicago also has a beautiful train station. I can't remember what it's called. But it, was once this just true cathedral to technology, but now is covered in smut and smudged with dirt. The windows have been busted out, and it is a haven for gangs. But you, Gerald, have been told to meet with a contact by the name of Moat. And as you approach from the darkness, you see...
Definitely dressed in the kind of the lower status clothes, like trying to, blend in with Derelictus.
Very good. As your group moves up, a young person steps out to say, "Hey, you, what you want here? You trespassing on the Gear Runner's territory."
I think Zordan's gonna step up. He's just gonna go like, "Gear Runner's territory, yeah, okay." And what I'm actually doing move-wise is I'm picking a fight to cause a distraction.
Okay. I will mention this is a pretty young person.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like it's more like, oh god, it's one of those snot-nosed kids, like,
okay.
Oh yeah, no. We're gonna, and then like while I'm dealing with this kid, I just want everyone else to be able to go like,
nice. All right. As the kid looks at you and says, "I'm not scared of some canned ham."
"Oh no, I don't expect you to be, but after today you will be."
"Asshole." And he comes moving over towards you. "Look, you're not wanted here. This isn't your territory. You fuck with me, all of my crew's gonna come and get you, buddy."
"Look, I'll take your crew one at a time. Don't worry. But let's start with you."
And you begin a fight. I'm guessing you're not using your sword on this person.
No. I'm really just doing the pick a fight core ability of like, I want to cause a distraction. I'm picking a fight with this dude so other people can just go on through while I'm.
And so as this little rumble goes on, Gerald, are you leading them in, or would it be someone else?
Yeah, I'm leading them in, and I think muttering under my breath, close enough to his ear to hear, like, "Subtle as always."
And I say to Loris and see, that's why you're not hiding behind Sordin.
You move into the station, and it is vast, enormous. And you can see the kind of rails that come in and going, some of them going up tunnel, some of them going down tunnel. But there are no trains here, just the open space.
It's probably for the best.
But with the kind of mess going on, you see, kind of moving past you, several other people running to go look at the fight. And they're kind of ignoring you for the moment until you see a lady kind of walking purposefully, striding in that direction and yelling out orders. Get them back, get him back here. This is ridiculous. What the hell is going on? And you hear one of the people that she's yelling at, Yamote, I'll pull him off. I don't know what the hell. Who the hell's the guy in the armor?
Hey, you're talking about me?
As you see quite a crew coming around you, Zordon. Gerald, this woman does seem to be Moat.
Sighing. Turn around.
That's okay, I got it. I got it. I mean, I assume you're not going to go one at a time, but you're not going to go all at once, right? Like, we're going to do this fair, right?
They start laughing as you see them preparing to gang rush you.
Wait a sec. He's the big lad's with us.
Woman looks over at you. And you are?
I think you were meant to meet us.
She looks over the bunch of you and gives this high whistle. And the gang kind of stands there a moment. The guy that you've been fighting and have probably knocked a tooth out of at this point just kind of holds back in guard as she walks over. You're friends of Michaelith.
That's the one, yeah.
Macareth,
yeah.
sorry.
Scary lady, yeah.
Come on with me. And she will motion for you to follow her into what probably was a ticket booth at one point.
Just one question.
Yes.
That was that she said Michaelith, but our contact is called Macareth. Was that intentional?
That's a Tyler.
Okay.
That's me never being able to say names right.
Okay. I just wanted to check.
Important to check. Absolutely.
Oh, come on, Gerald. Yeah. The only thing scary about Macareth is that she's never going to teach us how to do her marvelous exits.
It's a shame. I want to do that.
Right?
You see Boat sort of smile. I always find it scary as shit.
Oh, it's terrifying. I use humor to deflect the situation.
Has she ever done the spider one with you? Just me?
Which one?
Okay.
What's the spider one? Now I'm curious.
She has a spider one?
You'll know when you know.
Are your friends going to...
Do your little friends know the spider one? Because bring me the spider one.
She motions and the people, her gang have sort of split and let you pass, Zordon. And as she motions you into the ticket booth, there are a couple of seats here, and you see that she has a small kettle on a pot-bellied stove. And she says, mulled wine?
No, gratefully accept.
I heard someone say wine somewhere.
Pours it out for you, making sure the door is closed. She says, the old lady, I owe her a lot of favors. That's the only reason I was willing to do this. I'm Modampi. I lead the gear runners here.
Pleasure
and
to meet you.
She makes a subtle hand motion that identifies her as part of the ministry to each of you.
Oh.
Subtle hand motion back.
That's good, because otherwise we're going to be much more hostile.
She told me that you're wanting to go into the network.
Yes.
You know the dangers.
Sure.
We know some of the dangers.
Not all of them.
This one knows the most of the dangers. I point to Vizar, but I've heard of enough of them.
I've heard of. I've been in the net for 5 seconds. So yeah,
Enough that we don't want to go in there blind.
That's smart. It's easy to get lost. The network, it's not quite here. You could end up in places that when you turn around, there's not a way back out. And there's stuff living in there. And I don't just mean the gangs trying to salvage what they can out of it.
Heard someone tell that they ended up in the heart and barely escaped alive.
The fact that they escaped is a miracle. And if they came from the heart, then they certainly were changed.
They were very
Goes that
changed,
deep?
yes.
What's that?
It goes that deep?
Mm-hmm.
Stretches from the top to the bottom. Those humans were idiots. I can help you. I can get you in, and I'm willing to guide you at least part of the way till we can find someone who might know better. She said you're looking for the sages.
Yes.
All right. Getting you in is a favor to her. Guiding you will be a favor to you. There's something I want in exchange. It's not much if you're lucky. There's only one locomotive that still runs, the last train. There's ways to call it. My runners were the best couriers in Spire. And if we could get on the last train, we'd be open to everywhere.
You want control of it?
I want to use it. It would be good for my people, but it would be good for all the people, and it'd be good for the ministry.
What makes you think we can procure it?
I have a thought.
Looks at you.
I can't get into specific details, but we do know a few ways to get our hands on interesting secrets and deeply tucked away knowledge.
It's said that there's circuits that you can plug in that'll call it. I've even heard rumors that if you have a ticket, it'll come and pick you up.
Doesn't seem to be a small favor, though. I mean, honestly.
It'll seem like a pretty big favor when you're down there in the networks. I can promise you that, pretty boy.
I'm not saying we're not doing it, but I'm just saying it's not a small thing what you're asking, right? Can we agree on that?
It's not a small thing, but who knows? Another mission in the future. You might be thankful that I have got a way to get you around.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
All right. Well, if you're ready, there's no time like the present. I was expecting you. She reaches underneath the desk and pulls out a backpack and throws it over her back. Stay close to me. If I start to run, run. If I start to fight, fight with me. If I die, well, good luck.
Let's not follow that.
Mm-hmm.
She opens up the office door. Scab! You see a young man come running over. I'm going for a hike. You watch the runners. If we get any business, you know how to handle it. Yes, Mo.
Before we go, there is a question in the chat.
Is there?
It's an older one that Aramis had asked before. And
Oh, yes,
it was
yes.
worth repeating.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah, we'll come in. Everybody comes in.
You're
So
free
what
from
a fight in
stress.
front of
Cool.
a
Yeah.
crowd.
Entirely, okay.
Yeah, we're free. It's the start of adventure. We'll have for you. She leads you out of the ticket office and over towards where the platform to get on a train is. But rather than going to the tracks, she instead moves over to a door, kind of like a cellar door, and opens it up, and you see a flight of stairs leading down. She says, walking the tracks to suicide. We're going to use some of the access tunnels. And you descend the stairway. Yes.
How's it better?
Well, they're more defensible, first off. They're smaller than the full tracks. Second, dangerous things walk the tracks because they're dangerous enough that they can do it.
And you'll see Sorin like trying out his broadsword like in the small corridor, like when they enter, like
Also, the train runs.
It's not ideal, but
allegedly
sure.
the train runs across on the rails, and it kind of appear out of nowhere, so you wouldn't hear it, and you don't want to get run over by a train, Soren. You can't fight trains.
Should we try?
I was not aware of the fact that it even still going.
It's nothing like anything you've seen before. It's supposed to be as quick as lightning and strong as a phalanx. And it said it can even think.
Wrote a story with a fight on a train, so I've read something about it.
I should read this story.
Oh, yes, you should. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good one.
Does the train have a name?
Not in the story. It was just a prop. I mean, and I look at whatever her name was. Does the train have a name?
The last train is all I hear. You'd have to ask some of the cultists that worship it. They might know more.
Well, it's always a little dicey. Always interesting. Always dicey.
You continue down the stairway, and she's gone on, she's kind of put on this cap, and click, there's a mage light that's shining on it. She'll look back at the rest of you, and do any of you have any light sources? Did you think to bring light sources?
Yeah, I do.
You have
in fact.
Yes,
Yep.
And you have the light of Lumiere, don't you?
I do indeed, and I'm sure the Fenara's got plenty as well.
I've got fuck all.
I'm pretty sure that I've brought a light. I was in there before, and I remember that it's dark. So
Bolo and I are both burdened with preparations.
I'm just aware of my surroundings at all times because of
there's a
something.
wonderful lantern hanging
Something.
off of the front of my rowboat.
Yeah.
It's not here.
Yeah.
Thor's the bullet pulled out a lantern.
Yep.
I'm just like trying to stay out of the kind of line of any of these beams of light.
There are plenty of shadows as you head down this stairway, and it does a kind of curve and reaches a door made of metal, which she pushes open with a rusty squeak. And you enter into tunnels that, probably to your relief, Sorten, are pretty good size. They're about 15 foot high and a good 10 foot wide. You could see that there is a walkway kind of on either side that's maybe 3 foot wide. And then down the center of these tunnels, you could see that there is like a little trench. There is a bit of water in the trench. You can also see pipes and bundles of or lengths of massive wires. She says, be careful. Don't touch the wires. Most of them are dead by now, but, well, you don't want to find a live one.
Try it. Yeah.
As you begin walking through the darkness, after an hour or so, she comes to a grate and says, all right, we're about to really enter the ways now. Things here will be different. Don't always trust your eyes.
What should we trust instead?
me.
That's a tall ask.
She laughs. You'll appreciate it. And pushes open the grate. As she steps into the darkness, it's as though her beam on her headlight just disappears into the blackness. You could see her back as she enters, and you follow through. There is a strange electric sort of, like static electricity. Your hair sort of pulls up. Your skin sort of tingles. And you enter into this tunnel. You could see that there are tracks. They seem very worn and ill-used inside of this, where your lights are shining at hers. But the vastness around it, you can't see. It's so big and so dark, you can't see. She says, we'll have to make a quick run. Then hopefully we can find something more direct. Stay close, quick time. And she begins trotting down the tunnel beside the tracks. Everyone following along, keeping close.
I hustle.
Yep.
She
Without a doubt
moves 10, 15 minutes. It's quiet here. Drip of water occasionally. And then you begin to hear a sound. Pickaxes, maybe? Voices murmuring. Then a long wail of a steam horn. She looks at you up against the wall. I think it's a work team. Try to stay quiet. Maybe they won't notice us.
Really think they're not going to notice me? I
Work
mean,
team.
I'll stand against the wall, I guess.
She clicks out her light and motions for everyone to douse or close theirs.
Yep.
From down the track, you see a bluish gray glow. And a squeak, 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 squeak. The sounds of hammers and pickaxes grow louder. Then it's there, just as though suddenly appearing. A small steam engine, its wheels moving slowly, squeak, squeak. On its back or on its top, you see a man with a shovel tossing out look to be large nails. And walking behind this steam engine, you see the transparent figures of dozens of workers. Drow grabbing these, nailing them down. All of it unreal. Not of this time. These are the dead. They are still doing their task. And that is where we're going to stop.
Spooky.
Wow.
Nice.
All right.
Well then.
We've gotten into our first bit of our story. Want to throw around a quick roses or stars and wishes? We got time for it, we think. We didn't do one last time. And I think probably wishes, things you, again, kind of want to see going forward is always good. But things we didn't get into this time also make a nice one. Why don't we start in the dead center? Rich, why don't you lead us off with some stars?
some stars. I will say the voice work today, again, pretty stellar. I especially love particular turns of phrase, such as the blood is thicker than water. What was it? As long as it's
Especially if it's warm.
I'd never heard that before. That was so cool. Do not tell me that you heard it from other places. I just assumed that you came up with it and give you credit for it. And then calling Zordon in his armor canned ham just tickled me. It was really, really brilliant. So those phrases were good. I liked the Vizar and brother scene. That was very fun. Finara's backstory is shocking and amazing. It gives her so much more depth, and I loved it. It's like, did they talk beforehand, or is Jen just spinning this? Or like, this is so good.
I figured it out last night. I was like, man, tomorrow I'm gonna have to say what the thing is with Finara. There we go.
That was great. Definite star. I don't want to take all the stars, so there are my stars.
Thank you very, very much. Jen, any stars?
I'm gonna dogpile on with the voice work. I thought that the voice of Vizar's brother was particularly great, like the kind of voice that makes you want to go wash your hands. For sure. I liked getting to share my backstory. And deep in Finara, I like that Vizar has a new portrait now. It's so nice. It's like still has the glasses that feel so characteristic of Vizar. So
wait, that's new. Vizar didn't have a new at the beginning of the game. Nice.
Yep, that happened during game. Anything else that I really want to star? I liked Zordon making a new punch friend. Always good to see. And I like the spooky not train lines that we're probably going to die in.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Sabine, any stars?
Lots of stars. Mostly for trains, because I love trains, and I've always loved the whole Vermissian train network that I know from the heart. So it was like, oh, trains! Yes, we're going to see some trains.
There's a class that focuses on it, doesn't there? Isn't there? Like, you should have just.
Yes, I know. And I loved my brother, meeting my terrible, terrible brother. He was appropriately horrible, and yeah, and I hope I wasn't too hard or too soft on him, because I want to. And I also, that's a wish. No, I'll stop with that. And I love the way that I loved our new meeting space that Gerald put up, because everything else was too conspicuous. So we just go somewhere, nowhere really. And he had a table and he had glasses. So that was,
hole in the wall. Too public.
Yeah. And I would like to say something about Aramis and Yvette, but I don't want to take away all the stars. So, but that would have been another one.
Thank you very, very much. Jan, stars?
I was a big fan of Vizar talking to his brother. That was just chief kiss. I liked Aramis and his new girlfriend, I guess. Talking to each other, that's fun with that. Gerald getting his new mission was also a bit like, I don't know, there was like this weird awkwardness. Like it was, yes, I'm gonna do this, but there's still this wonderful awkwardness to it. There's like, I don't know, I love it. And Finara had just like this. The stories of Finara's crimes from before she came here was just like, all right, really, that's awesome.
I wasted a whole hour building a chair out of gold coins.
It was fun.
Awesome.
And Tyler, you're I don't know, you do such great work on the NPC voice work.
Thank you. And next up, Alex, stars.
I mean, I'll ditto. Ditto, ditto. I really liked. I did the one that was touched slightly on, but somebody was very nice and left it. Didn't go far into details of it. I really did like the Aramitz and this like this sweet little relationship. This like quite like fragile, not like as in it's like going to break, the relationship break, but the kind of like sweet thing with danger all around that's like could be crushed at any second, which I enjoyed. And also just to trying to think of something that somebody else hasn't said, but about something they've already mentioned, but just to bring my point on to it, was the Zordin's duel. I really love that. I mean, Jen kind of mentioned the fight friend. Yeah, that transition, like from angry combatant, antagonist to I lost.
I win. Well done, sir.
And then that kind of like it felt like over just 3 small beats, it's shifted from let's go get a drink now then. Okay, I lost. Fine, whatever. Water under the bridge. And yeah, like I could see they just, we've dealt with this. We switch back into our, friendship or acquaintanceship, whatever.
We have established dominance.
Yeah. It's like, it's been dealt with. We don't need to deal with it.
Let me buy you a drink, because if I don't, you're going to kick my ass.
Yeah. And then ditto to all life.
Awesome. And we get to start with you for wishes.
My brain was definitely struggling to click into the kind of getting into the role playing this session, and so next session I don't have that issue. Specifics. I think while we're down here, basically being given some decisions where we have to choose between the mission and the right thing, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or, the big picture and collateral damage kind of decisions.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. Jan.
I think my only wish would be I am not the move's vague about it as well, but I've been vague about it as well, but there's a point where I need to have accepted my quest, because then it starts doing things, and I'm not sure if I've accepted it yet enough to get the bonuses from my accepting my quests. It's not like I definitely haven't I haven't even started my quest, but accepting my quest is sort of an important thing where it's like,
I think I hear you. I think we should make time, have that happen this next session.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's just that it actually has mechanical benefits. Once I've accepted it, then I can have an effect to it, and once I finish it, of course, as well. But the accepting is a big one as well.
Absolutely, we will definitely have time for that. Cool. Any other?
No, that's it.
Cool. Thank you very much. Sabine, any wishes?
I would really like to see the train, if that wasn't obvious. And I also hope that Loris, my assistant, gets in a little bit of trouble because she's too curious.
I will keep that in mind. Danger for assistant.
I mean, she's my niece. I imagine that she has this kind of this curiosity bug that Vizar himself has as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Anything else?
No,
Nope.
that's all. I'm very happy with the way this is going.
All right, we'll give Jen a sec to get back and just go over to you, Rich. Any wishes?
More of the same. I'm interested in the Vermison station stuff, the undead, the trains is all pretty interesting. I really liked the Modai Empire or MP, and seeing her as our guide is fun. So yeah, more of the same.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Oh,
And
can you please write down the name of our guide somewhere so we
Absolutely.
can put her into
I
the
will.
NPCs?
I will stick her into the NPCs right now. Next to Simon, I will put in Moat. And the last name is NP. There we go. And if anybody would like to make a picture, feel free. If not, I'll throw one up there eventually. Give Jen a second or two more. And I'm looking forward to some, just to throw out my stars. I thought the duel was super cool. I found that a lot of fun. Love the backstory. I think Aramis and Yvette are very sweet, and I think I can't wait to see as that becomes more and more of a thing. I think that's going to be good. I always like having an NPC that is a romantic link, and of course a source of hooks, all sorts of lovely hooks. I enjoyed Vizar and Simon as well. I thought that was fun. I liked Gerald, you dealing with your magister. I thought it was well done, as in pointed, and you just that meeting was really nice. And for my wishes, I want to make sure that we've had so much exposition and so much of that. I want this next next session or two to be adventure-y, be very active. Try not to throw quite as much of the history of this and the history of that at you that I've been doing. Have some real excitement and meeting people and some stress for that, and all that sort of stuff. And I think trains are cool too, so I'm excited for the last train.
I like trains.
I think it's kind of neat in a way. To see the difference in Macareth and Moat when you have, because Moat is a magister. Moat is kind of not on scale with, but is a is the head of several cells, like Macareth. So I think it's kind of cool to see how someone else operates, because yours is way more mysterious and mystical.
I'm mostly like the thing that I was looking at Loris Krell's picture, and I was like, that is a portrait from Baldur's Gate 2, and she was not a dark elf.
Cannot. Ooh, cute. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She was not a what?
She's not a dark. She's not a drow. That is a she's elf / like I know that portrait. She's elf and something else. I think
she looks like a drow. I think she looks like
I
a
think
drow.
Yeah, no. Someone made her black.
Which portrait?
Loris Krell. I know that's portraits from Baldur's Gate.
That's possible.
She was a fairy, a fae.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Half fairy, half elf, or something like that.
Yeah.
And somebody put her up in drow drag.
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, she had no wings. Her wings were taken off.
Yeah.
I remember. I think my character got her pregnant.
My character was also dating her. I'm not
if
sure
you
if I got pregnant.
If you get my niece pregnant, Gerald, we will have words. I'm just saying. I mean, you'll have to. You'll have to be with her then. I mean,
I think she also died. Thing was brought back to
No,
life, so it's
she,
okay.
she, please
didn't.
don't make my niece die. I don't know about
Yeah,
her
I
state
carried
or
my
anything.
of her around in my inventory for many hours before I was able to bring her back to life.
I mean, she had like basically no strength, so putting any infantry on her was useless unless it was something that she could use. But yeah, potions she could use. She could carry the potions, and then you could. Anyway,
Jen,
we're getting
your
way off
wishes
track.
here?
Yes.
Clearly, I should wish for a shotgun wedding for Gerald. But no, let's see. Wishes. Just gonna jump on the. I want to see the train. Because I think we're there. We're in the train place. Show us the train, boss, the train.
Awesome.
And otherwise, yeah, just carry forward. I'm excited to see more of this game.
Cool. Well, thank you all very much, and I will turn it back over to you, Rich.
Thanks everybody for playing, and thanks to anyone who is watching. We will continue down the tunnel next week with our game of Spire. Goodbye.